attracting the right clients as a faith-driven entrepreneur, and are they staying with you over time? You and I know how very important it is to build relationships with potential clients in strategic ways. Many times, though, we create offers that are transactional as opposed to transformational. The difference? Keeping clients interested and coming back. Hey there, wise woman. Today on the Truth in Business Show, we talk about building these online relationships and the marketing strategies that attract clients and keep them engaged and satisfied as clients. This is DeneenTB.
And I'm Mary Allure.
So join us to find out how the right connections lead to the loyal clients and customers. Hey, Mary, you know what? In working with women in the Calling Clarity community, we have seen how having the right tools, the ones that we're actually going to talk about, really does make the difference in attracting and keeping clients. I think particularly of one of our last Q&As where you and were talking to a couple of people about creating an email sequence for welcoming them and then for also nurturing them. Tell everyone a little bit about that formula.
Well, in email marketing, there's definitely the formula that you have a lead magnet, people opt in off your website or wherever your lead magnet is leading them to, and then they immediately receive the download, whatever you've given them, a video, it could be a download. But then the important part really starts is the welcome sequence. You have to start out with a welcome sequence of maybe 3 to 5 emails. And this is where you tell people who you are and what you do and how you can, this is how you start building the relationship with people.
Yeah.
We even take it a step further. We have a welcome sequence and then we have a nurture sequence. So really, it's really about giving them value and helping them to get to know you better.
Definitely. I know Mary's very thorough. So therefore we have a whole welcome sequence and then they go through a nurture sequence before they even get into our weekly emails.
Right. Then there's that.
Yeah, there's a lot there. And it really is a way for you to start to build that relationship, that they understand who you are and that you can be trusted. So I can't wait to get into this topic today of relationship marketing, because it's one of the things I believe that as a Christian, we need to be doing. This is how God would want us to approach our marketing. So before we get into that, I want to remind everybody to subscribe to the channel. If you're watching here on YouTube and if you're listening on the podcast, make sure to follow us right away and give us that 5-star rating. And I always want to ask, please do share the episodes. We would love to grow.
Yes, we would love to.
So let's get into relationship marketing. Mary, what is your definition of it?
So my definition is customer relationships. And there is a very well-known definition that it's a customer relationship management. But, I really like to think of it as just creating those emotional customer connections that lead people to want to know you, want to know what you're doing, and want to stay with you.
Yeah.
And then they feel such a strong emotional connection to you that they want to tell others about you.
That's always a good thing, right?
Yeah, right.
So now we know when someone asks you, what CRM are you using? It's that customer relationship management or client relationship management. So yeah, and I agree. You have to get that emotional piece in there, don't you? You have to tell stories. I think that's part of my definition, is that you have to be willing to tell stories about your clients or even about yourself and what you've gone through. That makes you more authentic. That makes that emotion, that connection get a little bit more. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to do a workshop inside of Calling Clarity community, and I'm going to be doing it on our story toolbox. And that's one of the things that I really talk about is, what are you willing to share? because it's important in relationship marketing.
It is. And I love the quote, and I saved it because this is one that I really go off of, is that from Seth Godin. I don't know if I'm saying
Seth
it right,
Godin.
but Godin, like marketing, marketing guru.
Yes.
His quote is that people do not buy goods and services. They buy relations, stories, and magic. And it's true. It's true.
I don't know if I believe in magic.
No,
but
I don't
do
believe in magic.
I do believe in strategy, and having the right strategy and having the right message. And it's a learned thing. It's not something that all of us magically, quote unquote, magically do, because unless you're a person that has that charisma type of gifting, then you have to just learn how to do it better. So that's why we're going to talk about strategy.
And the magic word, I know, but I really think the magic is the value that you provide people. I really think that's it.
That's a really good word, the value.
Like if you can provide somebody with value like that, and that's magical, like, oh, wow, you just gave me that. You just, impacted me that way and changed the way I do things.
Right.
And service.
When you say emotional, that really leads us into what I call the 4 characteristics of relationship marketing, which is you have to have concern, you have to have trust, you have to have commitment, and you have to have service. And of course, we know that these are the things that are going to connect people to us, that are going to attract people to us. Right. So when we think about concern, let's break them down a little bit, I guess. And when we think about concern, we really do need to let others know why we can solve their problem. What is our expertise or our experience, right?
Or passion. Passion. A lot of people are passionate for something, some type of service, and that's why we can solve their problem. Because
if you're passionate, then you're going to learn as much as you can about it. Absolutely. So we have to show the concern for them. We understand you have a problem. I'm the one that can help you solve it. Right. And then we have to build that trust. That's what I think I love about what we do with our welcome sequence and our nurture sequence, is that we're building that trust over time. They're getting to know a little bit more about what we do. They're getting to know different aspects of what we do. Yeah. Right.
And it's consistent. It's not that oh, you got my lead magnet and you might hear from me in 6 months.
Exactly. I know.
We don't want to do that.
No, we don't want to do that. We want to stay consistent, whether you decide it's like every week, like we do, or it's every 2 weeks or once a month. They go, oh, I remember seeing this last month from this person. Of course, we don't want to be annoying and do it 14 times a day, because everyone's email gets pretty stuffed with things.
Yeah. Yes, but absolutely.
It also, we show our commitment with our commitment by doing this relationship marketing. We need to show that we're really committed to solving this problem in our unique way. We are helping all these other people. We keep continuing to tell our client stories. We tell how we've overcome it, if we've gone through it ourselves, or how we've learned about it. So we're always talking about that kind of stuff so that they can see that we're really committed to helping them solve this problem. Really? Right. Yeah.
And just by showing the consistency shows that you're committed too, that you're showing up consistently and over time.
And I think because it's relationship marketing, we have to talk about the how. How are we being committed? How are we doing it differently than somebody else? Because as I've said before, we're not Coca-Cola. We can't put a billboard out there that says, buy my product, buy my service, because we haven't proven ourselves. We have to prove that we're concerned. We have to prove our trust by building that. We have to prove that we're committed to really helping in the long term for whatever they need solved. And that all comes down to the service, right?
It does.
And if we're to do relationship marketing, we need to see what we do as a service to others. I think that's a mindset shift for some people, because they're like, I don't want to be too salesy. I don't want to be out there pushing what I do. I'm like, well, then no one's going to come to you.
No one's going to come. I mean, it's such a crowded marketplace. I mean, you have to show that you're serving others. Like, you just can't put out a website or a Facebook page and think people are going to come. because they're not.
Right. And
There's
this is a mindset shift
it
for
is a
some
mindset.
people,
Yep.
because
It's a
I
huge
know
mindset shift.
I know a lot of people that we work with have come out of corporate setting where they've never had to deal with marketing.
Right.
And they think that they have to do it like the big guys, but we're
I
the little
know.
scrappy guys.
Right. They have to build those relationships and use stories and provide value.
Exactly. Well, the way that I see it, and I think maybe it's a lot of people who come into being an entrepreneur, being a solo business owner, they don't think about long-term marketing. They think about short-term marketing. They like, buy my stuff, right? That kind of thing. And so, as I mentioned in the beginning, in the opening, there really needs to be a thinking of, you have to think transformational. What are you offering that's transformational over something transactional? And I think that's the difference, because relationship marketing is going to take more time.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you have to have this long-term thinking, not short-term thinking, because if you have a product that they can buy once and use once, great. Maybe a lot of people like that, but you're going to have to continually get new people into your funnel, into your queue, into your, your wheel, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah.
Because if they only use it once, then they don't need to come back to you. But if you can think of, how can I make my thing transformational? How can I solve this problem that transforms them, takes them from what we call that pain, that zero state, to the gain, the hero state, so that they win, they get it solved. I think that's what we need to do. So do you think that one leads to the other? Or how do you, what do you think happens when people go from short-term to long-term, or think that way? How do you think that happens?
What do you mean? Like, if they go to, if they start out short-term, I think they're going to learn very quickly that they have to go to long-term thinking, because again, I think there's so much competition out there. There's so many people who are selling their services, or like, example, if you bought a download from somebody, which I did when I first started out, I bought a $99 Facebook marketing download. I never heard from the woman again. That was very transactional. Transactional.
Yeah.
I wish she had, she had good information, but she never, I wish she had followed up, said, how's it going? And that's more transformational. Then you start feeling like, oh, okay, this person is invested. They're thinking long term. They want to continue this relationship. They just don't.
What a loss. What a loss for her. She had one $99 thing, and instead of being able to come back to you and offer you something more, build on that to give you the real solution that you needed, she lost out. She said, oh, I got somebody to do this. And I find that if people start that way, then they keep grinding, they keep hustling. You have to do more work, because we know, and we're going to talk specifically about email marketing, that if you get them on your email list and you have other things, that they will continue to buy in to your things. They will become a long-term, because you're giving them that transformation. And I think that, I think I saw it this way as well. And I think that that's why I did so many different things in succession. Like, I started off with being in direct sales, and then I said, I'll start this networking group, and then I'll do workshops, and then I'll do one-on-ones. And then, it was just like one thing after another, and the same people weren't always coming back, but I was always having to find new people. And it was hard.
Yeah, you have to find new people, right? It shouldn't be that way.
Exactly.
Well, we don't want to be that way.
We don't want to be that way. And that's why everything's come together under the Calling Clarity community, is that now our message is one message. We're not having, oh, this week we're doing this meeting, and this week we're doing this webinar, and this next week we're doing, and we're continually having to be in front of people. We just have one message. That's the other thing about a transformational business, is that you have one thing that you're helping people do, not the 47 things you want to do.
Right, exactly.
Or think you want to do, because you want to solve everybody's problems, because you're so smart and intelligent and whatever, right? You have that one thing. And that's what we talk about with having a transformational statement, is that one person at that one place and solving that one thing, your voice gets amplified
Right.
out there, because the relationships start because they're hearing you. So
Yep.
I think that's really good.
Yep.
I really think it's about getting not just inside of their heads, but it's about getting inside of their hearts, because a transactional thing is inside of their head, right?
That's true. Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
like, I can have this knowledge, boom, there it is, like your download.
Right. Yeah.
But if you get into their heart, their emotions, which we already talked about, that's when you really get that attraction, like, oh, I've got to find out more about this person. And that's one thing we use in our email marketing for our nurturing and our welcome sequences, and everything else we do is our emotional marketing value website. I love that, to create our headlines for our emails. What's our open rate now, Mary, on our emails?
We're nearing a 40% open rate, which is very good.
What's an average? What's an industry?
Average is like 25. So we're doing good with open rate.
That is awesome. And I love going in there and seeing if I can get a high score, because then I know I'm going in the right direction, that people will actually open it up.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the website is very cool. You go to this EMV and you type in your headline, and it gives you a score, kind of like a score. And it gives you the intellectual, empathetic, spiritual words, and it looks at them and it gives you a score based on your headline. And like, you could get 100%, which is like, whoa, you really hit it. You hit the intellectual side, the spiritual side. So it's pretty cool tool.
Yeah, I really like it. I have found that I'm always trying to get, I've only gotten 100% like once, but they say that the marketing, if you can get 30 to 40 on that's good. And we've always got above 40, because I sit there and play with it, and you start to understand after a while what you're really looking for. And sometimes I've got the trifecta, where it's words that are intellectual, empathetic, and spiritual. And sometimes I just get only spiritual or only intellectual, and that's fine too, because the intellectual words are especially effective if you're offering products and services that require reasoning or careful evaluation. So if I'm, intellectually, it might be something like, we're giving 3 points, or, I'm trying to get them to open up because I've got this value, something of value to give to them. And then the empathetic, that's your side of everything, right? Those heartfelt words that really resonate with people and bring out like profound, positive, emotional reactions to them. So like, if you say something like, I've got the answer to this problem, and they'll be like, oh, I got to go see what this is about.
Yes. But and of course, your genius zone is the spiritual.
I think those are the most powerful sometimes, and to get people, and sometimes that's what I get a lot of. So I guess I'm good at using those. I had a coach once say, you got to get spirit to spirit. You got to get spirit to spirit. And I'm like, okay, so don't just hit them in the intellectual. Don't just hit in the mind. Don't just hit them in the heart, but also hit them in their soul, right? These have the strong, because it says these have the strongest potential for influence, and they often still appeal to people in a deep emotional level. So if I can hit the trifecta, I think that's like the perfect thing.
I love it. That's a trifecta of email marketing headlines.
Exactly.
There's so much.
I mean, you could have the best email in the world and think this is going to really convert the person who reads it. But if they don't open the headline, they don't open the email because the headline is really terrible, then you're not going to get anything. I think we have to go beyond that head and heart and really get to that spirit to connect not only with potential clients, but even with our existing clients. Because I'm going to tell everybody, people will be on your email list for a long time before they decide to buy, because they're looking for that trust. You're building you're building so many things inside of that. So yeah, I already said we have that 40% open rate. I had marked I made a note here to make sure we talked about that.
yeah.
So, but I do want to ask this, isn't it true that email marketing is still the best way to connect with your audience?
Yes, I was surprised about this. I was surprised, but I did the research for my email marketing workshop that I held last month. And email marketing is still number one above any type of social media that you might be doing. I don't care if you're posting reels every day, 3 times a day. Email marketing is still number one. It's, and of course it's the way that we are actually landing in front of their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We're driving home our purpose, and we're talking about how we can help them. So it's really, if you think about it, it's like, yeah, it's better than just somebody seeing you scroll and they're scrolling through Instagram.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I mean, I think for me, it reiterates the fact that we've got to be doing things that get them onto our email list. Whatever that is, we've got to make sure that we're getting those people onto our email list, whether we have a lead magnet that's a checklist or something they can download, or if it's a video, or you just ask them to sign up for your newsletter, to having a webinar or a masterclass or a workshop where you're getting people there. And in order to have that continuing loyalty to you, to your business, to your brand, first you got to create the transformational business and not rely on that one and done product. And we have to continue with that by getting more people in, because you are providing value to them. If you don't get them on your email list, I don't think you really have a business. You're going to continue to spin your wheels.
Exactly.
Trying to get them on there.
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's, when we could talk about building that type of loyalty, and how do we do it? How do we build loyalty?
Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about those long-term clients and customers, right? So
exactly.
You can think, first of all, well, we could get a loyalty program like stores do. They have punch cards or whatever, right? Or you could say, come here 4 times and you get an ice cream. I don't know, get something for free when you've done so many things. And that can work for some businesses. I don't think it works for service businesses as well.
Right.
But we can offer things like personalized services, like, maybe you get one-on-one time with us, with the coach or with a mentor, or whatever you're calling it. That's something that we can do that is the very basic, I think, for customer loyalty. Right. Because you're still giving them something in order to, kind of like a reward for their loyalty.
Yes, right. A reward. Exactly. Yeah. And there's always upselling. You can upsell your services. You can have new or different programs that you could add on, or special opportunities for them to join you.
Yeah. Like that woman, like you did.
That's what I was just gonna say. Just like that woman who, it's like she had nothing else. That was it.
Yeah. But I think even that, you can always be like here, that you've gotten, like, for example, if you take a webinar, let's just do a little funnel here. So we've gotten someone attracted to our webinar. They get on the webinar, we give some value, but we also upsell them at the end to whatever product that it is, right? So I remember going into something for writing, and I was like, I went to the webinar. It was about 10 ways that you mess up your query letter to an agent or whatever. And the upsell was to be part of the community. I'd already paid to come into the webinar. So that was one thing. I came to the free webinar, but then I went to the paid webinar kind of thing. And then, so I went to the paid program, and then, I have all these things. And she gave a little bit of like bonuses, like you can come hang out with the group for Q&A one or 2 times. But I still feel like these are all, like, we could still go deeper than just upsells. You can only do that if they see you over and over and over again, if they get to know you. I think that's the thing. It's that you have to be present. You have to be consistently present, right? Because
exactly. That goes back to consistency and commitment, that, and and it builds that know, like, and trust factor. It takes a lot of touches, especially in today's online market. I
I know.
remember when I was doing email marketing about 20 years ago. It was a new thing, and it was, I remember they taught us, like, you have 21 days to really, make that impact, and you have to at least make 3 touches in that 21 days. Now,
3? Oh my word, that's nothing.
that's nothing compared to now. I know. You know this stat.
Well, this is the thing. I came on the scene a lot later than you did. So when I was first starting, they were saying that it used to be 7 touches. So, I mean, 20 years ago, it was 3 touches when email was new. Probably within 10 years, it was probably 7 touches. Now they say that it's 4 times that. 28 touches. So that means that you need to show up, if you're doing relationship marketing, you show up in emails, you show up in DMs, you show up in videos. You have to build that trust. You have to show your personality. And hopefully that's inspiring others to improve as well. You're giving enough value that, I always say you're giving away the front yard, so that they can know about you and know, like, if this is what she's giving away in the front, I wonder what the paid program in the backyard really is. Exactly. And I know you've got to get out there. You've got to talk to people. That's what I said about the DMs. And we'll go into a little bit more of that in a few minutes, and the video. And I know people are like scared to death of video. I know that sharing yourself even online, no matter if you're putting a post about a story, it can be scary. And then people really, it's important to let others really see you and know you and see your personality, because you are your brand. Relationship marketing is really all about showing others those 4 characteristics that we talked about: concern for them, building the trust with them, showing your commitment for them, and how you're going to serve them. And your people need to see them in your posts, in your emails, in your messages. So let me ask the audience out there, how are you showing your followers, your potential clients, even your clients? How are you showing up authentically for them? Which one of these characteristics are they seeing in you? And which do you need to start incorporating? Let us know down in the comments here on YouTube, or let us know in the comments on the podcast, because we're really curious to know your thoughts and know where you are with this and what's opening up for you.
Right, definitely. Yeah. Well, again, it goes back to giving people a great customer experience. And like my example, from earlier. But it starts way before they become your client. Just like having us, here's a great example where we have this video podcast and we post a lot of valuable content. Again, that's what's in the front yard.
Exactly. That's what's in the front yard. And we love giving it away.
Yeah. And you really have to put yourself out there. And then of course we talk about email, my favorite topic.
Yes. She's good at it, everyone.
Thanks. So we could talk more about, how the content has to be valuable, definitely provide value.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the formula that we use inside of the Calling Clarity community, is that we have 4 parts to our content, because a lot of times people will just put out inspirational things. Oh, everyone will come and see this. They'll think I'm so beautiful and wonderful. And they don't have a call to action. They forget the call to action, or they forget to talk about how they can help the person solve the problem, or they don't. I mean, 100 other people are probably doing the same thing that you are doing. How do you differentiate yourself? You have to be relevant to those that you want to work with. You have to show why you are their person. And there's a customer experience, but there's also the customer journey. We have to continually go, okay, where are they? Are they just getting to know me? How are they considering me? Maybe they're already on my email list. Maybe they've, engaged with me on social media somehow. And if they start engaging with you, make sure you're engaging back. They haven't made that decision yet. If they make the decision, yay, you've won somebody.
Yeah.
And it's really important. And I think it's super important that that engagement is where people forget that this takes a consistent, intentional thing to start engaging with people who are engaging with you. So they're not on your email list, so you can't email market them. So how do you get them there? Well, first of all, you can start to work in the DMs, right? Work in the personal messages, the direct messages to build that relationship. And I know that a lot of people are afraid of this too. What do I say? How do I start this? How do I not feel scammy or that I'm pushy or anything like that? And it really comes down to having the right script and just adapting. And of course, we have templates for that, because I know it can be scary, it can be hard. People can't always think through, but you have to create something that is really personalized. So anybody that likes your post, you should be reaching out to them. Anybody who answers a question on your post, because a CTA could be to answer a question, a call to action. And I mean, what do? I do at least 5 people a day. I'm talking to at least 5 people per day that I've talked to before. I have a spreadsheet for it. I know if I've talked to them before because I put a color code on it. And of course, in Facebook, you can see the whole message line, right, that you've done with them. You can see that in Instagram. And so it's really important for everybody to really see you. One thing that I'm going to do, Mary, that I haven't done a lot is personalized videos. I know some people have done that to me.
Yep.
Same. DMs. Yeah. Through the DMs on Instagram or on Facebook. And I think that is super. It's fun. You feel important. I mean, everybody wants to feel special, Right. I know. Remember that one time in when we were networking locally here, I said, I want everybody, I had everybody put on a label instead of like their name tag. We used the name tags. And I said, make me feel important. And I had everybody put it like right in front of everybody, and that you would look at them. I'd say, imagine they have it here on their forehead, right?
Yeah.
That's what people want. They want to be that you are making them feel important. So imagine everybody has that when you're talking to them.
Right. Yes. And we just read in our book club in the community, we have a book club, and we just read Springboard. And in there, he said, everybody has a need. So when you're approaching people, approach them with like, not thinking about yourself, but thinking about like, what does this person need? Mm-hmm. Just kind of something to keep in your back of your mind. So, maybe you don't get upset if some things aren't going well, or, just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are so many ways to start and develop these relationships online, right?
Yeah. And another way is that, and we've used this too, and it's valuable too, to ask people for their opinions or feedback.
Yeah, they love to talk about themselves.
Yeah, people love to give feedback too, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, but ask your followers, and even your existing clients for feedback.
Yeah, definitely. It's really helpful to do that quote market research, right? And it's really important that you can talk. I mean, we have done polls. That's an easy thing to do on Facebook, right?
Super easy.
Super easy. We've also done interviews. We put out that on Facebook saying, hey, I'm doing market research. I want to talk to people who are whoever that is for you, and getting people to get into your calendar. And that's a whole nother thing we can talk about, is having all the right technology, but we're not going to talk about that today. And we've done surveys as well, especially to the email marketing people, to our people that are on our email list. We have done surveys. And we even have, we have our private Facebook group for our Calling Clarity community, but we have that larger Facebook group. And that's a good way to be able to talk to people, get people's opinions and all those kinds of things. Gives you a place where you're showing up, hopefully consistently.
Yes, consistently. We keep on saying that.
That's an important word.
Right.
So I hope everyone has kind of seen, that's listening or with us here on YouTube, is really understanding the importance of relationship marketing and how you can do it. There's the email marketing, there's the DMs or the private messaging, and then there are videos. Now, I think we've given you some other ideas along the way as well.
Yeah, and I know I know it seems like a lot. I know
it can be overwhelming.
It can be overwhelming. But again, this is truly the best way to conduct your business in a God-centered way. And you just have to start small. Like we're talking about this, I've been around with Deneen for over 5 years. Deneen's been doing this way longer. So you have to start somewhere and just start small. I don't want to make it sound so overwhelming.
Right. I mean, that's the whole point. And I think that because I've done so many different things, I feel very adept at being able to help people, especially with the video piece, because, I'm a speaker and all of these things. And sometimes we're looking for coaches that, can give us one piece of what we need. Very transactional again, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And really what it is that we are called as believers to be in relationship with one another, and finding all those other people, sometimes we can't always stay with them because they're not our people. They're not the right people. They're not believers. And so we can only go so far with them. And then we have to kind of bow out, or we lose interest or something like that. I love what we do because we get to honor one another. We get to be devoted to one another. We get to love one another because we get to know each other. And this includes our clients. We learn more about our followers, our colleagues in business, everybody. So I have a verse. It's Hebrews 10:24, and it reminds us, it says, let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. So you connecting with your long-term clients and customers through relationship marketing is really the key, right?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So let's let everybody think about this. So think about, have you created a transformational offer that attracts those you are meant to work with? And do you share yourself and your stories on your posts, on your videos, in your email? And are you reaching out? Are you DMing to potential clients each and every day, building the rapport that you need to turn them into clients? That's where I know the Calling Clarity community can help.
Right. Those are good questions. Definitely. And, we have answers in our Calling Clarity community. We have a lot of courses in our library, and we have a lot of how to do things like creating email sequences, welcome sequences, how to do video script templates. We have templates for videos and DMing, like Deneen talked about before.
And we're always a great place to practice. Our community is a great place to practice and get feedback from people who really care about your success and really want to be that mentor, because it's not just the Deneen and Mary show. We've got everyone in the community helping one another. It's a truly one another type of community. Like I said, the best part about the community is that it's a place where we can all grow together so that we can each live out the Great Commission, making disciples, building those relationships so that you get the opportunity to share Jesus, which is what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Right.
I think relationship marketing is the best way. As I said at the beginning, I think this is the way that God wants us to market. It's the way a faith-driven entrepreneur really should market themselves. So any last thoughts, Mary, about anything we've talked about?
No, I think that's good. I don't want to be, overwhelming or anything.
Yeah. So let me ask more questions, and we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments,
Yeah.
either on the podcast or platform or here on YouTube. So do you want to be all that God has created to be in your business? Do you want to attract the right clients and create relationships that keep them engaged and, more importantly, coming back? So we want to invite you to check out the Calling Clarity community and what it can do for you and what you can give to the community. That's very important.
It is.
Building relationships is what it's all about. And we want to help you have the success God wants for you through your business. So in the description, you can click on the link and just find out more about what it is and then how you can join. Remember, God is using your business to transform you. So we're just asking to let us help.
Yeah. And please remember to follow us here on the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and give us a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you, or get your input and your feedback.
Awesome. Well, this is DeneenTB.
And I'm Mary Allure.
Have a great rest of your day. And as always, be filled to overflowing.